everyone, welcome to International Cafe. My name's Charlie. I'm a second year student at Edinburgh University studying history and Arabic. International Cafe is a place where we have tea and cake. I made this yesterday. And wonderful chats. International Cafe is run by Edinburgh University Christian Union, and we exist to give every student on campus the opportunity to hear and respond to the gospel of Jesus Christ. Welcome to International Cafe, where most of us are international students from all around the world. And we just want to love each other and support each other. Some of us here are Christians and some of us are not, but that doesn't stop us from having fun together. Every Wednesday, if you haven't come to International Cafe before, we meet in person for, as I said, tea and cake, and we have optional Bible studies at the end, so whoever wants to come can come. What else? What days? I forgot what I was saying. Oh right. But now, because of coronavirus, we are meeting online, so check the posts above or below for the link for that, and we'd love to have you there. And now we're going to have our weekly video sharing by Sarah. She's going to share about how she deals with change, and she's going to do it beautifully in a video right now. Enjoy. Did you stop it yet?
No.
Shout out to my sister who's doing the video right now. Yay! Enjoy. Yeah.
Hi everyone, it's Sarah here. If you don't know me, I'm a second year social work student at the University of Edinburgh, and today I'm here to talk about the question, how do you deal with change? We've all experienced change in our life. We've all moved to uni and moved away from home, and many of the people in this group I know have moved to uni from a different country, and so dealt with change in a different way in terms of getting used to a different culture and a sometimes different language as well. And now we're also all collectively dealing with change as well, as we're dealing with this global pandemic and just getting used to that. And I know that will be affecting different people in different ways, especially since we're all in different parts of the world. But I know that for me, it felt like a change that happened very, very quickly, and it was something I wasn't really expecting. It felt like I was living my life normally, and then within a couple of days it was like we're in lockdown, and we have to get used to a new normal and get used to doing things differently from how we normally would. A lot of change and a lot to figure out how we do that and how we deal with that well. So a little bit about me. I grew up in Istanbul, which is in Turkey. So my dad is South African and my mum is English, but they actually moved to Istanbul before I was even born. So I grew up there. I really felt like it was home. I loved it. I had really good friends and loved growing up. It was a beautiful city, and just felt like it was my home. And then when I was 16, everything really changed for us as a family as we moved to Scotland. And it just felt like my whole world had been turned upside down. I had to leave behind my friends, the culture that I understood. And even though I had a British passport and spoke English, I still found it really difficult to adjust to the culture. And I didn't really feel like I belonged or that I fit in with the people here, and just found it really hard to make friends or to understand what was going on. I just felt quite confused and angry and disappointed in some ways. And I think a lot of us can relate with that, with the COVID-19 situation as well, of just feeling a bit uncertain about this change that's happening and getting used to doing our lives differently. So how do you deal with that? So when I was 16 and I'd moved here, I felt quite isolated and lonely, and I started reading the Bible more, and I was basically trying to figure out what God had to say about the situation that I was in, and if God even related to my life at all. And through that, I found out some really key things that have been really important in my life. And the first is that God is constant. So I believe that God created the world at the beginning of time, And I believe that God is the same today as he was back then, and he also will stay the same forever. So even when our circumstances change really quickly and it feels like everything is crumbling around us, like, we can know that God is constant and he will not change, and we can really trust and rely on that. I also started reading a lot about Jesus' life, and so we believe that God came down to earth as a man, as Jesus, and he lived a very normal life. And he, as Jesus was growing up, he faced a lot of challenges. So when he was a baby, they were refugees, so his parents had to flee from where they were living, and they moved to Egypt. And then, even after he moved back to his hometown, he, as an adult, kind of identified that he didn't really fit in there, and he kind of talked about how he didn't feel at home in his hometown, just because he felt rejected by the people there. And so, if you look at the life of Jesus, you can see he felt all the same emotions that we feel. He felt rejection and loneliness and many of the things that we deal with. And so I take real comfort in that God actually understands how we feel and understands the pain that we go through, and that he really cares in those situations. He really cares about the suffering that we go through. So that's been really important for me to know that God is constant and that God really cares about our situations. How do we respond when we're faced with a big change and a big challenge in our life? And I think it could be really easy to feel that disappointment and feel that, feel hurt, and just to grow bitter and to kind of dwell on the fear that we feel. But I believe that the way we should respond is we should trust and surrender to God. So I believe that God, is constant, and he can be with us in these situations, and that actually God promises us peace. So if you look in this book, Uncover John, on page 88, it talks about, this is Jesus talking to his friends, and he says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." And I think that's a real promise that God gives us, and he says that multiple times throughout the Bible, that God promises to never leave us, and that we don't need to be afraid, and that he will give us his peace. And so I believe that, if we trust and surrender to God, that doesn't mean we don't go through hard times. It doesn't mean we don't go through suffering, but it does mean that God will be with us during those times, and that he will comfort us and give us his peace. If you have any questions or want to find out more about that, feel free to message me or message the Facebook group or the Instagram or anything, and I'm sure someone will get back to you if you have any questions. And also, we'll be discussing this book more in the optional Bible study at our International Cafe Zoom, so feel free to join in that. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you all soon. Bye.
Thank you, Sarah, for that wonderful sharing. If you've got any questions, feel free to message Sarah or message me. I'd love to chat with you about any of the stuff she shared. And stay safe and stay home, and see you on Wednesday or next week or whenever. Bye!